concept, right? Like the hinge elo, where you effectively have a score, like a skill ranking associated with your profile. It didn't address that point because maybe his app didn't have it, or it's not as explicit. But the concept stands. But yeah, I suppose the big takeaway is, because the classic dating app like refutation is, well, if you provide a good service, people will churn off. However, dating apps have been going for 15 years and still going. So I'm not sure how much of an argument there is that providing good service or not matters that much. So what do I, as the viewer of this content, what do I make of this revelation? Will I change any of my behavior? Again, frankly, I think the only change is just index much more heavily on in-person stuff. Like, that is the only... Yeah, because I think it's pretty obvious that you can't really double down on dating apps. I suppose in a sense that you can try to just like do more shots on goal. Because like Hinge, you only get 5 likes a day. So maybe if you just increase the top of funnel, that'll help. Which I can buy. It's pretty damn expensive to do so, but I can get that. But again, it is damn expensive. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's sort of just doing stuff in person, but you still have some of the pressures, right? Where like the reasons you're not successful in a dating app, some of that will carry over to real life, obviously. I just suppose, right, you can, if you're in person, you already kind of skipped the part of like the first message phase. But yeah, so again, risk seeking, blah blah. That's the obvious fix. But in practice, it's always more difficult than you would like. Although, as the study said, people with high locus of control, aka people who are proactive and have agency, are more likely to be in relationships. And therefore, being the midwit that I am, I see that study. Now I'm like, bro, the study says you have to be high agency and have a high locus of control. Therefore, I've got to be high agency and have a high locus of control. Like literally, like unironically, I saw that study. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, shit. Oh, that is great. That is such a good bit. Man who sees study decides to emulate the implications of the study. Frankly, that's kind of what you should be doing, right? You see a study that, exercising is good for your health, your brain probably should go, well, I guess I do want to do some exercise, Perfectly rational. Study says high agency and high locus of control is a good thing to have. Your brain should probably go, fuck, is the air quality bad today? Your brain probably should go, yes, I do want high locus of control. I just suppose I'm over indexing on the cause on the causality of it. Perhaps. Nevertheless, I'm still charmed. I'm still charmed by it in concept. A little side project I'm doing is having a spreadsheet to just keep track of, right, like each day, right? And each day you get X amount of likes. So what you can do, right, you can kind of like see like how many likes you send out versus how many responses you get. And that way you can kind of get a loose hit rate, quote unquote. It's like, dog. Oh man. I just suppose the only bad answer is if it's a 0%. That's probably the worst thing. Or at least if it's like only 2 decimal places. If it's more than 2 decimal places, well yeah, that's extremely dreary. But if not, like, okay, you know, again, right, if 4 to 5% is like statistically the baseline of likes you can expect to get from women, because that's not fair, because that's the likes women send, but presumably they respond to a higher degree. So take that back. But nevertheless, 4 to 5%, that's a nice thing. It's like, okay, yeah, below average, let's handicap. So it's like, I don't know. As long as it's a competitive, but as long as I say like competitive, I'm thinking like, also you can kind of tell, I kind of have a number in my head already. Because it's not a hard spreadsheet to set up. Let's just set up my start date where I redid my profile, +1, drag down. Only get the same number of likes today, drag down. So I know the number. Again, right? So you the audience, right? I've said so many disappointing factoids today. I won't say this disappointing factoid out of arrogance and a desire to maintain some degree of pride. But so if my PA is compounded at 5.7% annualized, and so what's my response rate on dating apps since 2 months ago? It's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like, is it higher or less than 5.7%? Well, that's vague enough. I think for most, right? It's like jokes like how do women perceive male attractiveness? And the joke's kind of like, most guys are not attractive, like from some of the studies, right? Which on one hand is gratifying, because like we're all working under the same impediments. Nevertheless, it's like, oh man, that universe would be nice, but alas, man, look at that. Imagine the property value on that place. Am I right? But yeah, my coping mechanism: complaining about stocks, complaining about housing values. Why not both? And now my stomach's growling. I just was on an agency point. You could, I will say, ever since I turned 23, I genuinely, like, my appetite has genuinely declined. I don't know if it's like I'm 23, it occurs to me that, like, 5-year plan, don't think I achieved or crossed as many things off my list as had as much success as I would have liked. So let's got to change the inputs to change the outputs, right? So let's eat less. Let's try to slim down a bit. Let's try to do a bit more cardio. Do some yoga. Let's do the easy. Let's do the easy fixes. Which is, I think, a noble, frankly reasonable adjustment to make. So let's make those adjustments, and we'll see. Of course, the issue is, right, you'll never get those 5 years back, but take what you can get. But it is incredible, right? Like, who need, like, it's so, like, this way it works for me. I assume it works for it would work for other people, but it's like, who needs a Ozempic when all you need to do is just open Instagram or Tinder or Hinge or something and just see like a gorgeous, like a cute girl, and instantly be like it's like the minimus. It's like a thousandth of a % chance or whatever, but it's like it's not zero, and it's like it's not zero. And then it's, well, if it's not zero. So anyways, that's the joke, is like, who needs a Ozempic when you can just look at it, see a cute girl, and instantly, like, lose your appetite because you want to slim down a bit. It's like, bam! That is genuine. As genuine Ozempic stuff right there. Mental Ozempic. Heard it here. Generally, I think it works for me. It's such a, and again, like, there's zero marginal, right? Like, if opening Instagram is a bad behavior, at least this way, or like, it's so easy to open it. This is the very easy fix. Just use it in a positive direction. So, I don't know. Generally think it's somewhat effective in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah, that is my unironic life pro tip. Use women as your mental Ozempic from wanting to improve yourself. There's a message in there somewhere, and actually, it's probably pretty universal, but I'm sure you could argue there's some objectification angle to it, but that's not my college major. This reminds me of another funny quote. I just was, the root of it is like, pretty much with that mind, like, you will always be miserable. And so there is a joke. It's like, someone made a joke, which I think is pretty good because you can retrofit it for, like, insert attractive girl X. It's like, some guy's like, if every woman looked like Aubrey Plaza, I would still be unhappy, but at least I have a smile more. It's like, I'm not sure if Aubrey Plaza is the best person. Maybe like Sophie Thatcher or something would, but yeah, I think about that a lot. And I would walk around with a much more positive gumption if that was the case. Or underpriced or whatever. Again, insert attractive female X. So maybe that customer is much more explicitly objectifying, but again, it's for a good cause. Am I right? So, anyways, so we roughly hit an hour. Boom, that was a good walk from Van Ness all the way to Tenley Town for our French bites. We'll take that. Complain about the usual stuff, but well, thanks for watching, and hopefully future me is less afflicted by these predilections, but who knows.